You know, those drunken fellas, they can fight hard. There they are. Gods be damned, I've got to go wash off this blood. Some of it is mine. Eric is looking out the hall's windows onto the bay. A fleet of longships approach with sails of bold reds and blues. One banner I know well. Vognir. Next for Jarl King's ship, last we spoke. The other flag looks important. Oh my gosh, you're gonna turn up into being my regal old man voice, aren't you? Ja, important guests. See what I deal with all day long. Ah, things make more sense. You hoped I'd have a stake in saying everything is fine here when the royal guests arrived. Not me, the governor. Now I have to make sure there are no rotting bodies or pools of entrails in the great hall before they come by. My day is never done. Can I ask one more favor? Sure. If you happen to stall our guests down on the docks, I wouldn't object. Maybe I will. Eric and Volgard hustle from the mead house. To his credit, Eric tosses the barkeep a spar of silver for the mess. You give an apologetic shrug and go to greet the new arrivals down at the docks. This is so beautiful. Oh, right. That thing that I said I was going to go do. I can't, like... Can I... Renown, days... Options? Nope. I want to raid bodies and... Vognir. A familiar Varl steps onto the docks. In your mind, you recall a much younger version tramping the halls of Grufheim, abundant in purpose. God, Zubin, you're looking ancient. Is that my brother with you? Comes with being old. Comes with being old, and if there is Wagner, there must be Hakon. Mustard. Still bleeding tributes from the poor and stupid old yucks. At what age do you lose a sense of shame? Your under demands it, and I'll take that over lingering to death in Grofheim. Speaking of, I had no sense that you were so far from home. Just returned from Arbrong. I have to change your voice. You all sound so similar. Just returned from Arbrong, in fact. And glad for it. Oh, God. Haken motions to the other ships in the bay, sails still fluttering. Golden wolf head emblazoned in red, the king of men, or someone on his behalf. The king's well. The king... Never mind, you don't get a voice. You sound like me now. The king's son, Luden. Don't you know it, Scrivener? We visit his capital, he visits ours. That's how you make alliances these days. It's a miserable waste of time. Yes, Hakon has it. I'd almost forgotten. It's a good thing you're around, Hakon. Then you're going to Grofheim. I have the distinct feeling I've finished my business in Strand and was heading there myself. We should caravan. We should. Give it a day. In better circumstances, I'd drink a week away, but... let's just be done. Find me tomorrow at the gates. What he's trying to say is the prince is a delight to behold. Where is Mogner? Hakon, have him find a place to put up the warriors. I'm heading up to meet the governor. A host of giants departs in his wake. You recognize a few, others are strangers to you. Guess I'm off to find Mogger. See you in the morning, Scrivener. So Scrivener is a writer, a scribe. I'll be along. The young prince of men ambles from his ship. He brushes off his tunic, scanning the beach with low eyelids. Ludin looks for all the world the sort of boy who grew up pulling the legs from spiders. The long road back to Grofheim should be more interesting than most years, you think. The weariness suddenly settles in, and you chuckle to yourself about what an odd day it has been. One of the governor's men at the Great Hall could find you a place to sleep. On the other hand, if you're going to join Wagner's caravan tomorrow, it might not hurt to share a drink with Hakon, or introduce yourself to the prince they spoke so highly of. Speak with Hakon. I should introduce myself, even though I know I'm going to regret it. Is this the right place? You find the prince at an inn. Guards blanket the building, including a sharp-eyed Varl who must be working for Ludin. A woman in red eventually waves you over and stands nearby, arms crossed. Greetings, Prince Ludin.
Yes, you're with Wagner? I don't remember you.
Because that's the voice of someone who pulls spiders off of their legs. Vice versa. Not exactly. I've known Wagner for a long time. I'll be joining you back to Grofheim with my guards. Ludin looks up for the first time. The woman doesn't react.
Why?
I work for the king, carrying tithes to the capital. We crossed by chance.
Oh, a tax collector. Fine company. Cats, if you start fighting again, I will pull the whiskers from your tails. What do you want?
Just to introduce myself, I have a habit of recording history. I thought we might talk about your visit. Well, that will allow me to be nosy, and we all know I need to be nosy.
A Varl historian. Ha ha! Don't you already know I pull legs off of spiders? Your king and mine both have been practically trumpeting it throughout the cities.
I've been on the road a while, I'm afraid. Ludin takes a deep sigh. Whether tired or ungracious, you aren't certain. Maybe both.
A formality, mostly. Wagner came to our capital.
Sure.
In Arenberg. And now we go to the Varl's capital in Grofheim to cement this grand alliance for the next age of men and Varl.
You sound unconvinced.
There's no need for it, and it's damned cold up here.
You get the sense he's struggling not to complain outright. You take the opportunity to excuse yourself. Instead of saying something like, yes, and we have fine fur coats and women to warm the beds and beds to be warmed and nonsense. Scrivener! That's right, I gave you a slightly higher voice. Scrivener! You find Harkon in a mead house surrounded by other Varl. Strand is no stranger to Varl, but rarely sees this many. Hakon waves you over. Went straight for a flagon. Wagner's the one who agreed to pass up a drink. I wasn't invited to the governor's hall anyway. You already missed. You already missed the massacre. Every year I make the rounds collecting taxes. Every year it's the same human settlements that give me trouble. Well, it's just the human settlements. I implied it was the same human settlements. No surprise. What this time? When I got here, the great hall was already full of bodies. We added a few more. Ha! Humans. I guess if I only lived as long as a Yox fart, I might be desperate to make something of myself, too. It's not too late to start trying, Hakon. Hakon lets slip a low chuckle. Any Varl could recount his deeds, known as he is for cutting a swath through the dredge at Wagner's side in the Second War, and regularly since then. Down here, I'm a glorified bodyguard. You might have a point. Just another reason to get back to Grolfheim. Soon enough, I imagine. You drink until the meat house becomes overbearing, then step back into the cool air outside. Wilson has joined me in my playthrough now, and will now try to claw my face off. Can I go? Well, I guess it's late enough for the mead halls to be closing. At dawn, you're awoken by a delivery of goods. At least, you think it's dawn. Damned hard to tell with a sun that never moves. The governor's crest adorns the supply leathers. All there, just as promised, to your mild surprise. You wonder if Eric had anything to do with that. Plus 20 renown, alright. Your guards take the treasure wagon down to the gates. Wagner is already there. A while later, Ludin and his men appear, groggy and disheveled. Mugner steps forward, Wagner's quartermaster, if you recall correctly, in charge of his unwieldy entourage of warriors. You know him only in passing. He asks if you're ready to depart. We're ready. You follow Mugner and the others join. Usually, the smaller doors set into the gates would be enough to enter or leave the city, but the town guards have been told to push them open entirely. That's not ominous. They mutter things under their breath that are best not heard. Perhaps the governor expected you to draw a crowd, but there's nothing of the sort. Just frustrated, tired people. It summarizes Strand well as a whole, you think. That is wonderful. Morale declined. I guess that's morale one. Wow. The caravan stops for the day. A gift, says Mugner, cracking open mead casks. From our gracious friends, the governor of Strand. Hours pass with raucous laughter as the mead is passed throughout the camp. I'm not going to drink that much because I do not trust this at all. You go easy. You've got nothing against a good drink, but if anyone is going to keep an eye on things, it may as well be you. The revelers eventually fall asleep without incident. Morale improved. You rise groggily, the campsite a casualty of merriment. Mugner is already kicking warriors awake when you spot Ludin settled stalking in your direction. He sidesteps sleeping bodies. Better wake up, you nudge Wagner. You're needed. Ah, it's Ludin. Always a pleasure. You look well rested. Wagner releases a caged yawn and receives a hard-eyed stare in return.
How long to Grofheim?
My kitty cat is trying so hard not to cough. We're only 2 days out of Strand, you know. Come on, I'll show you on a map. Kitty cat has such bad allergies. Yes, you do. I'm talking about stuff that has nothing to do with the gameplay or how pretty everything is, or how much I appreciate that they're taking these characterizations quite well, and they're actually doing some of this stuff for a tutorial in a way that thematically makes sense. World map. Drag the map to look around. A portrait icon shows where your caravan is in the world. You can also tap on any location to get some history about it. When you're done with the map, tap the X at the bottom of the screen. Also, we're 2 days out from Strand. We originally had supplies enough for 100 days, but we had supplies enough for 66 days, so it makes me think that we're supplying the entire caravan. That is a huge difference. Huge. So there's the right foot. The left and right foot of Dengler's Bay are said to be where the god Dengler himself stood when he created the thriving trade city of Strand. Others suggest it's where he stood while taking less noble actions upon the land. He was taking a piss. Alright. So, we're gonna be the Wandering Road. Einhard Pass, Wormot, or Wormtoe rather, Nordfell Waste. I don't remember where they said we're leaving. Grofheim. So I guess we're going to Verdfell. Named bad weather, the gales that blow in from the bay and around the mountain peaks keep Verdfell, or Vedvrefell, in a generally unpleasant state. What really cemented the name was the kind of person who would live there. Men cast out from Strand for one reason or another, with nowhere else to go. Could just say they're a bunch of stubborn people. So I guess the easiest route would be to go up through Verdfell, through the Hanged Man Mountains to Schild. Over this way. Two spears. The last home of Vrall, instead there's power found by the second Hell King. Grofheim the capital. Volschmarch. So, okay, so that's how we get in. Unless we're supposed to go to Skymarstead. Alright, I don't know what our path is supposed to be, but okay. Wagner, you're the one that talks like me. We head north, then east, past the forts. Grofheim's far from Strand. Going to be a long march. Okay, so we are taking the way through the thing, the second path I outlined. We should have drank... You should have drank... You should have drank last night, Luden. There we go.
Why not take ships to Skymarstead? What's the point of marching?
The Silverstone Bay is called that for a reason. It stays covered in ice all year. It would tear up the longships. Too bad, though. We could have shown you all the wonders of Skymarstead. It's Skyrim. Skyrimirstead. A half-sunken city crawling with dredge and glaciers. You like glaciers? Nice sound effect there. Luden exhales through the nose, a poor disguise for his contempt. He turns and bats aside the tim flaps as he goes, barking at his company in the distance. Don't poke the anthill, Wagner. He seems no happier to be here than you. Spent a few more days with the boy, old friend. You'll be looking for a tall cliff to top off to. Ludin's got a shorter wick than Hakon. Thanks, Wagner. Let's get moving. Another half day to Verdenfell if we're lucky. Camp is where you manage your caravan. During travel, you can enter camp at any time by tapping the camp button at the travel HUD where it says camp. Camp in towns, or while at camp or in towns, you can upgrade your allies, equip items in the hero's tent. You can pass time by using the rest tent. Resting will improve the caravan's morale. High morale will reduce casualties more and affect your willpower, and it'll use supplies. Training tent will allow you to safely try out any characters in a mock battle. Alright. Go to the hero's tent. One or more of your units is injured. Injured units can still fight, but have a penalty to max strength equal to the number of days wounded. They heal as time passes when resting in camp. Look on the ability button to learn about the unit's abilities. I already know that. Impale. Oh, that's a neat little animation down there. Who does that remind me of? That looks like Sir Kay from the Disney version. The Sword and the Stone. That's who it looks like down here. It looks like Sir Kay from The Sword and the Stone. But I do like that spear. Someone who can handle a spear well is freaking awesome. War Master. Oh, so I don't have an option. He has to be in the party. Oh, no, there we go. Because I'm a Scrivener, I'm not a fighter. Where do I go to train them up again? Does he have to be out of the party? Oh, that's how many people they've killed. I understand now. And no points available. Okay. So now I need to find out if a test battle will count. Units move in the order you place them from left to right. This initiative order is very important when setting up strategies. Put archers after melee so that they can stay safely behind your heavy hitters. I think I'll keep that. Training tent allows you to test your parity against a team of clansmen of equal power. Training fights never injure your allies or grant renown, but they let us test strategies, so it doesn't give experience. In training, stop battle at any time. Alright. It's not actually what I wanted to do, but okay. There I am. That's awesome. Don't focus on one at a time. Whittle them down. You're the only one who'll be able to get there. Limit the mobility of that archer. I should have moved. Oh, so maybe it does count. Higher stats increase your item rank. Let's increase your stats, I guess. Or I don't have to choose. Points available. He has 2 points available. Okay, cool. That's all I want to do since his injuries don't count. Let's get going. We've been here long enough.